Well, it's just about sunrise on Saturday morning, and today, well, it's just after first light, isn't it? We could go flying if we wanted to, but we're not flying this morning. Well, we will be, but the main intention today is to fly tonight. Today we are preparing to fly at last light. In Australia, flying after last light or after civil twilight is not legal. We're going to push the boundary, and we're going to document this today, and we're going to discuss the rules and regulations in Australia about flying VMC night VFR or not. Had a great breakfast. I hope that made you hungry. Bacon and eggs, nothing like it. We're off to the airport now. We're going to install some cameras and go for a test fly. But there's more to this story. Tonight we're hoping to do a landing at last light, and we're going to talk about the rules and regulations of flying at night in Australia recreationally. We'll see how that goes. Record. Ticking. 1, 2. Record. 1, 2, 3. Okay, switch is on. Feet in. Gloves. Engine start up. I heard something. Go batteries flat. The card's full. Something's wrong. Clear prop. That's now flat or full. 5 minutes is over. So we're going to have to look at that camera when we talk. Hello. Sony's going actually at the moment. Morning everybody, afternoon, evening. Mirror traffic trike 6340 lines up rolls runway 17 for a local flight. Mirror. You right?
Yep. Ready to roll. Buckled in, helmet on, visor down.
Alright, so we're running, we're airborne, it's dusk, we are 10 minutes away from actual official civil daylight, and what we're going to do is turn the runway lights on. I think we should be able to do that very shortly. We proved before that we weren't able to turn them on with too much light, because the ambient light has to drop before the runway lights are able to turn on. Mirror traffic trike 6340 is airborne runway 17 for local flight Mirror. Alright, so we're just going through 700 feet now, and I have to use the Insta360 over here on my right because the Sony's decided for some reason it's not going to work. We've got the GoPro running on the nose. I hope it's working. Can you see a red light flashing? Because if it's not, it's going to be the...
There is a red light flashing.
Yay, that's good news. Right, so we're just going to hang a left here. Now we're going to turn around, we're going to see if the lights come on. Right, so we're going to put the... Right, we're on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And nothing. And if I've got the sequence wrong, I'm stuffed. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's really annoying.
Really?
To zero decimal.
Would it be not, don't forget it's not quite as dark as you said.
Yeah, I might just bring up the Ursa. Just watch the traffic in front of me. I've got lights and everything on, but you never know. I'm just going to bring up the information on here and make sure that frequency hasn't changed. I mean, it shouldn't have, but you never know. 120.6 confirmed. Okay. And we're on 120.6. Try again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lights on. We have lights on. Yippee-yay. So we've achieved success. The time is 17:23. We have 10 minutes until end of civil twilight. So in Australia, the requirement is that we have to be on the ground before last light, which is civil twilight, at 17:33 or 07:33 UTC. Okay, so we're excellent here. We'll do a landing with the lights on. Mirror traffic, truck 6340, turns base. Correction, final, runway 17, touch and go, Maryborough. So if you lift your visor up, it's actually quite a bit lighter than it looks.
Yeah, it is too. Looks impressive with all the lights over the city, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's no point landing. Oh no, we will, because I need to practice. It's easier if I don't have my visor on. Oh, see?
We're here.
The visor's in the way. Going. That felt weird.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we've done a landing and a takeoff with the runway lights on. We're going to go around this time, and this time we're going to land. It's going to be a full stop. I'm calling it quits there. I'm not getting busted for doing something I shouldn't be. Right, traffic, truck 6340, Z1 runway 17, turning crosswind for downwind and a full stop, runway 17, Maryborough traffic. Right, traffic, truck 6340, turns base, runway 17, full stop, Maryborough. over the water. Oh, right in the water. And the time is now 17:33. We are clear. We are landing legally. Everything is wonderful. Runway lights are on. That was a pretty good show, I thought. Anyway, we'll go and do a summary in a moment, and I'll tell you what's coming next video. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll be right with you in a moment. Maryborough traffic, Trike 6340 is clear of all runways, Maryborough. Now, about that cup of tea. So how do you think we went? Enjoyed that? I hope so. It was a great flight too. So anyway, let's get down to the specifics of what we achieved tonight. As it states in the CAO 95.32, which is the Civil Aviation Order for weight shift microlight aircraft in Australia, aircraft like that can only be flown during daylight hours. Now, how do we calculate that? Well, we'll come to that shortly. As it also states in the HGFA, or now known as the Sports Aviation Federation of Australia, Operations Manual, Section 4.2.4, Weight Shift Microlight Operations, flying is to be conducted only during daylight hours and in visual meteorological conditions, VMC. Okay, so as I said, these hours can be calculated on this table. Using the appropriate table, find a date, move vertically to the latitude of the location for first or last light you want to find, then read off the local mean time, apply UTC time correction if required. Another way is to go to something on the web we call NAIPS in Australia, National Aeronautical Information Processing System. Now in this video you'll just see that I've selected a location, which is Maryborough Airport, and it's told us immediately what our first and last light times are, and those are the times we're allowed to take off at the earliest and the time we must be back on the ground at the latest. So what does it all mean for pilots in Australia and for us trying to fly at night and at dusk and at twilight, the earliest and latest? Well, we now know how to calculate earliest takeoff and latest landing times, so that gives us no excuse, does it? This allows us to fly cross-country and arrive safely at our destinations, and hopefully not in the dark. If we fly locally, we also now know what time we need to be back on the ground. It also tells us what time we're allowed to take off at the earliest as well. So as it turns out, we can take off before sunrise and we can take off after sunset, but there's not a fixed period of time. A general rule of thumb might be 20 minutes before sunrise and 20 minutes after sunset if we're not 100% sure. So were we really legal during this flight? It looked pretty dark. I must admit that one of the cameras was a bit darker than I anticipated, and it probably gives us a false impression of the amount of light that was available to us. But yes, we were legal, of course. We used the time from the NAIPS website as our latest landing time, and we were down on the ground probably a couple of minutes before that. And I must add, depth perception is severely reduced in low light, and it is dangerous trying to land in these conditions without appropriate training and practice and practice and practice. At one point I had to lift my visor, which is heavily tinted, just so that I had enough light to actually gauge the depth perception for landing, because otherwise you can end up having a very heavy landing into the runway, not realising how close you really are to the surface. Maryborough Aerodrome, and as do many of their larger aerodromes around Australia, have a system called PAL, or Pilot Activated Lighting. This is activated using a special radio frequency and button sequence with our communications radios that we use for normal air-to-air chat or conversation. And yes, the runway lights do come on before last light, but I think this time it might have been due to the fact that there was some cloud cover involved as well, which can affect the last light time. It can get darker sooner than what the actual calculated last light time would be. So you have to be the gauge of whether or not it's safe for you to be flying around and trying to land in the dark or not, but you should really take that into consideration. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments section how it works in your country with your license and the aircraft you fly. Thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you again in the next one. Until then, goodbye for now. traffic, Trike 6340, enters, lines up, rolls runway 12, Berrima traffic.